Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello!
And today we're talking about volume 22 of Jujutsu Kaisen. This volume focuses mostly on the Sakurajima colony, where Maki and Noritoshi fight the cursed spirit that Naoya turned into. We see Maki growing quite a lot thanks to a chance meeting with her two new mentors, I guess you could say. And the book ends with Yuji and Megumi getting to know the angel a bit as we learn about her objectives.
I like it.
Yeah, it was
Oh my gosh.
great action and some juicy information toward the end.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite volumes in a while.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, me being the Maki simp I am, I was very pleased with how this ended. And honestly, I didn't expect her path to go this way. Well, let me say that I did expect her to become Toji-like. I didn't think that she wasn't there yet. I didn't think she had more improving to do.
Gotcha.
So to see this was very nice.
Oh yeah.
Was a surprise indeed, but I loved it. And then I mean the ending of this is just great fuel for what's to come.
Absolutely. So, well, without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting, of course, with Maki Zen'in. So yeah, this sumo guy and katana guy really ended up changing her world in a way that no one could have really predicted, I think.
No,
well,
really.
for one, because I think I was kind of there with you in thinking that she was more or less already on the same level as Toji.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure that something like this was required exactly, but as we see, like from her getting to kind of ponder the difference between Toji and herself, thanks to those guys, and then letting herself blow off some of that steam, and in that process, learning an awful lot in a very short time span.
Yeah.
And by the end of that, actually achieving that same fighter level as Toji was very fascinating.
Absolutely. I mean, having a not suicidal, genocidal mission to your own clan, you would think that that would put you at a pretty high level. And I thought that was Toji level.
Yeah, right.
But if we think back, I think Naoya consistently was saying that Maki was nowhere near Toji, even though he was getting his butt kicked.
Right.
And I guess he was true. He was right. So that's no longer the case now. After, I guess, awakening or coming to a new realization, an understanding of the world, and I guess the souls that inhabit everything. Now she's at the level of Toji, and yeah, it was a really satisfying battle.
Yeah.
And no, I loved it. I loved it.
For sure. And something that I was happy with, and like because I started to get a little bit nervous near the end of the volume, I was thinking that the volume would end with another cliffhanger. Like we wouldn't get a resolution to this fight with the Naoya curse.
Oh man.
So I was very happy that we actually did get that resolved, and it was, as you said, very satisfying.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's crazy that she was able to match Naoya's speed. What?
Right.
In the world?
Yeah.
How? I mean, that what Naoya was doing was already insane. But that he was a cursed spirit, so it's like, okay, you know, I can let that pass. But then Maki goes into it after Ultra Instinct releasing or whatever.
Yeah, dodging in midair and whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, I guess, kind of hilarious that just the fact that she has no cursed energy gives her so many advantages and like so many upsides.
I love it.
It became funny because it was like so like instance after instance where she was winning because she has no cursed energy. Like it was that simple reason, and I don't know. It just is so overpowered, but it's fun. It's great.
Yeah. All you need is pure will and determination, and wrestle a sweaty Japanese guy,
Precisely.
and you'll be good.
Ah, yes.
So we had the sumo wrestler guy helped her realize what the samurai was trying to teach her about freedom and the soul contained in each thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of the soul, her katana, which was the same, supposedly was that the same one that Toji had,
It was a replica of it.
or replica?
I
Yeah,
believe
that's
it
right.
was
That's right.
mentioned.
But it's a split soul katana, so it's just not fancy words. It literally can split the soul, and that's what the sword user, the katana user, taught her as well, or showed her as well. So that just makes her even more powerful. At this point, it's like surely she's not as strong as Gojo and Sukuna, right? Or is she? like where is the power level here? Because at some point, you can only get so high. Like the gap can only be so high. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, we need to get Gojo back sometime soon, so
Yeah.
that we can see these two fighting side by side and see who is really the strongest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did Toji ever have a chance against Gojo? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
and Toji and Maki at the same level at this point? I guess so.
I mean, yeah, it's implied that they are, but
yeah,
didn't Gojo kick Toji's ass pretty brutally?
Yeah.
So,
I think once he became the enlightened one, I think
right, precisely.
took care of him pretty handily.
Yeah. So yeah, Gojo is probably still stronger.
Man, the gap is just so wide.
Yeah.
But still, good for Maki for reaching a new echelon for her.
For sure.
Maybe she'll have more to go. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, yeah. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
I can't. Yeah, you can't count it out, right?
Yeah.
I was wrong about her mom. I thought that the mom maybe killed herself.
Oh, right.
Or out of guilt or whatever. But Maki confirmed that she was the one that killed her. So that was kind of disappointing for me because I didn't want that to be the case.
Understandable.
But although I do understand why. But I like that she seemed to regret that, and maybe it was kind of a caught up in the moment. Like she wanted to talk to her mom, but she was just so livid. And when the mom, I guess, talked back, she just couldn't handle it. Anyway, she seems like she regrets it, especially without talking and coming to understanding. So I did like that. And maybe there's hope for her, showing some sort of remorse or wanting to atone for what she did, the genocide that she committed.
Right.
But I also understand that the Zen'in family corrupt. It's just, as we said before, it's just very difficult to justify any sort of genocide.
Absolutely. Well, then let's talk next about Noritoshi Kamo. At the very start of this book, he was talking to an old guy named Shino, which was very funny to me since that's the name of my cat. But
I thought Shino was a woman.
I think it's both a male and female name in Japan.
Well, yes.
You mean this character? I guess it could be an old woman. I guess it's unclear. But yeah, that character didn't stick around.
Yeah, it was just kind of random.
Kind of a strange way to open up the volume.
Yeah,
I think. But anyway, the reason why Noritoshi stumbled upon that character was because he was searching for Gakuganji, but instead came face to face with Kenjaku.
Oh.
And Kenjaku spared Noritoshi's life only because it didn't really matter to Kenjaku and his plans whether or not Noritoshi was alive.
Yeah, because he's become the head of the Kamo clan. So does that mean that Suguru was part of that clan all along?
Right, that confused me as well.
Like he's an extension of the Kamo clan, which is interesting. I wasn't sure how one would end up becoming the head if you don't have the Kamo name, but maybe his mother was a pure-blooded Kamo. I don't know. Either
Right.
way,
Megumi Fushiguro is the head of the Zen'in clan, or was.
oh, good point.
But
A fair
but
point.
yeah.
But we knew who his father was. Father was a Zen'in.
True, true.
But anyway, yeah. So I guess because Kenjaku has the appearance of Suguru, he was able to gain that spot, and not just that, gain control over the lawmakers in the Jujutsu world and abolish laws about Geto and Yuta,
Yeah.
which both keep him from being hunted down, and then keep Yuta away from protecting Yuji, basically.
Precisely.
So those are some interesting rule changes that he made, and it also shows how one-sided the Jujutsu Kaisen world is when it comes to these lawmakers.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it.
No, like, he's still conniving in the background, man.
Oh
Still
yeah,
scheming.
for sure.
But now Noritoshi's kicked out of Kamo Clan, right? Or at least kicked off of the hierarchy or whatever.
I guess so. But during his fight with Naoya, the Naoya curse, Noritoshi seemed very prepared to die for a moment there,
Yeah.
while he was kind of stalling for Maki. So I guess that's yet another thing that we have the sumo and katana guys to thank for, because it was thanks to them showing up there randomly that he probably survived.
Yeah, thinking back to previous discussion, I believe I was predicting Noritoshi would die in this volume, or at least this part of the story, but
Right.
that turns out to be incorrect. And then I'm glad he was able to stay alive. Kudos for holding off Nalia as well as he did.
Oh yeah.
And then, like you said, the samurai and the sumo came to save the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad he's alive. I mean, yes, it would have been nice to have some sort of loss, although I mean we've had plenty in the past. But I don't know. It would have been interesting for his character. Like this would be the character that I wouldn't mind too much, especially if they made me care about him more. Which they did though. Like they did a good job of making him more relatable, and I can sympathize with him easier. Being that he feels he has no place to go after all this.
Right.
Feel like he left on his mom. He can't face his mom. And then the very end, you get this little, peek into what his mom really feels, and that this whole time she wants him to come to him, come home to her,
Yeah.
come home to her.
Yeah.
And that's why she named him Noritoshi, in this backwards, almost reverse psychology way.
It's like it. I'd argue it's selfish of her to name him that. It's kind of greedy. Like I want him all to myself, kind of. But at the same time, yes. It's out of love, and like I get it. It's kind of cute in a kind of warped way.
It does. It's clever, like devilishly clever, but also immature.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Particularly in the way of I want him to come back to me.
Yes.
He's mine. But I think that's better than what Noritoshi feels or has felt most of his life, is kind of this shameful, almost loneliness for not having a place, not being able to reach the top of the Kamo clan or anything like that. So anyway, it was very nice.
Absolutely. Anything else on Noritoshi?
No.
Then let's move on to Naoya Zen'in's cursed spirit version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this was very interesting to see, and I guess had it been established previously, I feel like it could have been, but I don't know for sure that it was.
What?
The idea that if you don't kill a jujutsu sorcerer with jujutsu, they can come back as a cursed spirit after death.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that was established earlier on. I
Right.
forget when,
Same.
but I'm pretty sure they expressed that. That's why you got to do that. Otherwise, they come back as, cursed spirits.
Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to actually see that happen here with Naoya.
Yeah.
I thought, and also how I guess it's an anomaly in his case to retain so much of his old self and even his cursed technique and his abilities. Like he's still really fast, faster even probably than he was as a human. So yeah, that was pretty interesting, I guess.
Bro reached Mach 3.
Yeah.
Mach 3!
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Maki caught up to that too, so.
True. So I guess she moved that fast as well.
Important note that Naoya does make is that it wasn't Maki who killed him, or was it Naoya made it or the narrator? Maki didn't kill him, and if she did, it would have been, I guess it would have been okay, supposedly. But the fact that her mom was the one that killed him,
yeah,
allowed him to turn into a cursed spirit.
Yeah. Although I guess if she had killed him without any jujutsu techniques, although why would she do that?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
She fights using jujutsu, I guess, just naturally, so it wouldn't happen. Maybe. Whatever.
I think that's what the book was implying, or the volume was implying.
I think Maki was kind of beating herself up over like, I shouldn't have done what I did, but then she was incorrect in thinking that she had killed him. So
so that was the incorrection, and not so much that it wouldn't like she could have done that.
That's how I read it anyway. But
okay, I could be wrong.
But yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, he was a villain of the volume, I guess you could say, at least in this cursed form. No, yeah, did not last.
Yeah, he was. No, I'm glad he's gone. Scumbag.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So there was a moment where Naoya had beaten down Maki, was kind of on top of her. It almost implied that he had done something to Mai.
I know. And yeah.
Did he molest Mai?
I wasn't really sure how to read that. That did come to mind, or something really terrible, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a villain. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's scum. Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
One of the worst persons and people in this story.
Oh yes. He's way up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Going back to the curse energy stuff, or jujutsu, whatever. Gakuganji told Kamo or Noritoshi that, like, way back when they were getting ready to kill, I think, Yuji or something like that, that it requires or to prevent a source of returning into a cursed spirit, you have to use the jutsu or cursed energy.
Right.
So,
but was that also established back then in the volume back then?
Yeah, I thought so.
It could have been. I just don't remember exactly, but.
Oh no, yeah, it was there. Yep. It was there in chapter 33.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool, awesome, great, good to know.
Yeah. There's that. As for the other point about would it if Maki had killed him, would he still have become a cursed spirit? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I would assume so, but also that kind of seems then wouldn't all of the Jujutsu sorcerers she killed turn into cursed spirits? The entire Zen'in clan, wouldn't they have turned into cursed spirits?
I mean, if she killed them without using jujutsu, but she is always fighting with jujutsu, isn't she? She ought to be, right?
Well, here's the thing. Like, in 192, Or actually, let me double check before I wreck myself. Yeah, so I mean, the only thing we have is that Maki is thinking that she doesn't have any cursed energy, so she killed him with her fists, and that she says she should have known that would happen.
Oh yeah, that she should have used a cursed weapon.
Oh, yeah, maybe cursed weapon. Maybe the weapon would be okay.
Yeah, I guess in her case, maybe that's what she would have needed.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
And maybe that's how she killed the rest of the Zen'in family, was with, I mean, I can't remember.
I can't either.
But yeah, I mean, she has to be careful whenever she's fighting a sorcerer. She can't. I mean, I hope she's not fighting too many, but I'm sure she'll have to.
Yeah, and I guess just thinking about what could have happened if she killed some of those other Zen'in clan members without Jujutsu or without a cursed weapon, thus turning them into hostile cursed spirits. Chances are they wouldn't have retained as much of themselves as Naoya did, right? Because that seemed to be an anomaly in his case, that he kind of maintained himself. If most curses don't do that and just become more chaotic and non-human like, then chances are they wouldn't go after her specifically. They would just be haunting somewhere elsewhere, kind of blindly, maybe. And so it wouldn't affect her directly. Perhaps.
That's fair. Yeah. Maybe they all form into one giant curse, the Zen'in curse, and they go after Maki.
Oh,
that would be pretty epic.
That would be pretty cool.
I don't know, like at some point we gotta move on with the main plot here. Like
we do.
Not really related to Sukuna at all, or Kenjaku. But maybe he's like, oh yes, all part of my plan. Maki, you were part of my glorious plan this entire time. I'm really your father. No. Just kidding. Anyway, so Naoya was fun. It's so much better than what I was worried the worm would be, just this grotesque spirit thing that didn't really, it wasn't anything special, just another thing to fight. But being Naoya itself was such a great twist, and
for sure.
Yeah, loved it.
Same. Well, then let's talk next a bit about Hagane Daido, this katana guy. He's a reincarnated master swordsman, unrivaled with his sword, but cannot wield cursed energy and thus can't see curses. But thanks to that whole thing, he became a good mentor, maybe just one-off mentor for Maki, as he claimed that he can see everything else. He can't see the curse, but he can see everything else, which is the same as being able to see the curse, or the cursed spirits somehow, or in his philosophy or ability.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see much from this guy anymore, but he came in clutch, right?
Oh yeah.
And saved the day. But I guess it shows that Toji wasn't the only person to feel the curse energy without actually seeing the curse energy, or having curse energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I feel like Daido kind of has a similar thing as Toji in that way.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And the other guy, Rokujushi Miyo, the sumo wrestler looking for someone to wrestle with.
That was hilarious.
He was so funny. He's another one of those kind of like Takaba, and I guess Todo to a degree. Just that type of character that Akutami does so well, in my opinion. Like so funny.
I agree.
I love his kappa design, and I love how we actually get to see a sumo wrestling domain expansion in action here.
Yeah.
Since that was kind of mentioned briefly previously.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. 1,000 bounce inside the barrier in a minute.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
That's awesome.
Is this where I say it should have been me? Is that where I say that? I don't know.
I guess
I'm
it
torn.
is. Yeah, teaching Maki about freedom in a very poetic way in order to help her grow and understand what Daido was talking about. He proved to be a surprisingly wise guy, or wise man. This kappa.
Sumo wrestlers, they're not just all muscle and fat.
Yeah,
they got brains too.
They do.
And I like how this sumo wrestler was atypical from the sumo wrestlers you usually see depicted. Sumo wrestlers, particularly in America, are viewed as just these big fat warriors, big fat wrestlers.
True.
But they do have that weight class. But in reality, a lot of them are very athletic, very strong. I mean, it on the level of judo, just it's a different style. It's obviously you need the bulk mass to stand your ground, but you also need to be athletic and fit in order to succeed. And so you have various weight classes as far as I understand. So it's cool to see this sumo wrestler is not particularly fat.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's fresh.
Yeah. Really quick, going back to Daido, this is just a funny thing. The toy sword he picks up.
Right.
It's totally a Demon Slayer reference.
Right, I thought so too. I wasn't totally sure, but I thought so as well.
It has to be with the water and it shouting its move and it's katana. That was great.
That was so great. So great. I love those guys. I hope to see them at least a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a whole lot of them, but at least a little bit more in the next volume. I'd love to see just.
Could you imagine Miyo trying to sumo wrestle a Skuna? Sumo wrestle Skuna. That'd be hilarious.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I would love to see that. Well, I guess that's all on those guys.
Yeah.
Then next, let's move on and talk about the Angel, also known as Kurusu, or depending on who exactly you're looking at, Hana. So this character is properly introduced to us at the very end of this volume, and we learn that Kurusu's goal is to eliminate all of the reincarnated sorcerers due to them having possessed another person's body, which doesn't sit right with her. And I agree with that. I think that's a fair, I guess, objective to have. And Kurusu lives in symbiosis with Hana, who is the human, original human of that body, instead of completely possessing that body. So that, I guess, and because of that symbiosis, as she calls it, it manifests in a similar way as Sukuna within Yuji. So it's, I guess that's another interesting thing to have another character with sort of a similar kind of thing going on, although it's different, of course, but still.
Do you think it is different? Like it almost seems it's the same, almost the same thing in that.
Right.
I guess the biggest difference is that Yuji is able to control Sukuna from completely taking over.
Exactly.
Whereas Kurusu is not completely taking over, just partially.
Precisely, yeah. She's choosing to not take over completely.
Yeah.
But Sukuna does want to if he can, but he can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's that's the main difference there. Besides that, it's probably pretty similar though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is pretty interesting. And interestingly, we also learn that above all, it's Sukuna that she wants to kill.
The disgraced one. Disgraced one, and then Sukuna just kind of knocks. Hey, buddy, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm the disgraced one. Oh, really?
So yeah, and that's her one condition for helping to free Gojo.
Easy peasy. Easy peasy.
I wonder, does she know?
Does she know? Does she know? Have you seen that meme? Does he know?
Yeah. But yeah.
Does she? I don't think so.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. So that'll be very interesting. Probably something they'll have to tackle in one way or another in the next book.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for all we know, we can go to freaking Fukushima and see what's happening with I don't know, some other character that we haven't seen in a while.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, there are a lot of characters, so yeah, you can't get your hopes up for the next volume to continue the thread that this volume left off with.
Yeah.
Even though I do hope they do stay here right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm ready to move on.
Right, especially since not only is this going on with her wanting to kill Sukuna and having the ability to free Gojo, but she also admits to having potentially the ability to separate Tsumiki from a potential sorcerer that is possessing her body, although at great risk. Like she may end up killing Tsumiki, I guess, but
yeah,
she may be able to do that. So that's another interesting thing with the angel.
Right. So it turns out the angel is very valuable to not just their plan, but Megumi's ultimate goal.
Precisely.
So that could be good. And I guess speaking of Megumi, there's more connecting them than supposedly meets the eye.
Yes.
Kurusu claims that someone in there saved Hana. I'm pretty confident it's Megumi was the one who would have saved. I just don't know when. I don't think we've seen it in the story yet. How this character saved Hana, but I say confident, meaning I'm just putting my educated guess onto Megumi,
right?
Thinking it's him. It would be interesting if it was Yuji. I guess add to the girls that have a crush on Yuji, all two of them. But
yeah,
I do think it's Megumi. So I'm hoping we learn more about Hana in that way.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Right. I wasn't sure how to read that because obviously it was clear that Hana was keeping something from them, and she didn't want Kurusu to give it away, exactly whatever it was. And I agree with you that it seemed to be related to Megumi, but I wasn't sure what it was about Megumi. The gut vibe or whatever that I got was that she I don't know, had some kind of feelings for Megumi for unknown reasons. But she did refer to him as the destined one.
Right. Now was that Hana who was saying that? I guess it was, right? Because it wasn't the cheek mouth talking.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. It should have probably been Hana.
But yeah, that was the other point I wanted to make, is I called him the destined one. What does that mean? Like, why are we throwing out titles all of a sudden? Hold up. Who are you, Tengen?
I kind of feel like this is Akutami trying to transfer Yuji's main character status over to Megumi.
You think so?
Something like that.
I'm done with Yuji. I'm bored with Yuji now. Megumi.
It kind of feels like that.
Jujutsu Kaisen Shippuden. It's now Megumi.
Yeah.
He's the main. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I wasn't sure how to take the destined one, other than you can't just throw that out there without having a reason for it. I'm more surprised that they didn't. I guess he was kind of waking up, so maybe he didn't have time to interject, but eventually I would have been like, okay, what do you mean by that? Why are you throwing out foreboding titles?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I'm more certain than before because Kurusu says that the reason Hana saved you and that saved you is talking about Megami, has to be talking about Megami. So previously there was some sort of supposed interaction with these two or something like that.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
Because he previously did something.
Right.
And I guess I just thought it was a saved, or I don't know. Because I don't know what you previously gave her a tissue when she needed one on the train. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, I feel.
Yeah. But I'm hoping it'll be a fun little side thing.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. I actually initially when this scene kind of started going, and I think before the name Hana was mentioned for the person, I was kind of thinking and sort of hoping that it would turn out to be Yuko Ozawa, the girl way back in Volume 8 who had a crush on Yuji.
Right.
That it would have been her being possessed or in symbiosis with Kurusu, but it was not.
That would have been fun. Yeah. We don't know how tall Hana is. Like we can't really gauge it yet.
Right.
So, and maybe she's using an alias. You know, change the hairstyle and everything.
Yeah. Although I feel like Yuji would have recognized her regardless of what she did to her looks.
Oh.
As he has done before.
Yeah.
So probably not Yuko, but oh well.
Yeah. So last thing I'll say is going back to the destined one. While I don't know what it's supposed to mean, part of me doesn't like how that sounds actually.
Oh.
Again, it sounds foreboding. It sounds kind of ominous, and we already know that Sukuna is very interested in Megami.
Oh yes. Oh.
Destined to help Sukuna? Like what? Like, I don't know. Like what? I wouldn't think that the angel would be on his side, right?
Right. That would be really strange, considering her objectives.
So does Destined One mean there's a turning point for him where he has to decide to help Sukuna or not? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, for some reason I didn't consider what she considers him to be destined to do.
Yeah, right. Right.
Because clearly there is something.
Yeah. Huh. But at the end of the day, she's willing to help as long as they get rid of the disgraced one. So
yeah,
I guess it'll work out in the end. I can't even say that because obviously that is a huge hurdle.
Yeah,
or, definitely not quite what we want yet. But yeah, that's all from me.
All right, all for the characters in general.
Yep.
Great. Then let's move on to some predictions. And since we were just talking about Kurusu and what she wants them to do for her in order for her to help them free Gojo, I was thinking, well, maybe this is too reasonable for the characters to be able to come up with, or whatever. I don't know. But if they can explain to Kurusu that the most sure way to kill Sukuna is for Yuji to eat all of the 20 fingers first, and then to kill Yuji. Then maybe she will agree to free Gojo first, so that they can search for the remaining fingers together afterward. I feel like that makes sense, and I'm hoping that something along those lines that she will agree to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my prediction as to how they'll get past that right now.
I had a similar prediction where I feel that based on what we've seen in previous volumes, Kurusu will try to fight Yuji because, maybe he'll be like, oh crap, well, you're not going to believe this, but the guy inside me just said he's the disgraced one.
Yeah.
Fancy that.
Uh-huh.
And they break out into a fight. But because he's able to maybe control Sukuna and that impresses her, maybe they're able to come to agreement and that she'll free Gojo and they'll figure out a way to separate the two. Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
She has that ability to
that's true.
Separate. And maybe Yuji
it
promises to go through that procedure. He's like, even if I die, just do it.
Right. Right. So yeah, maybe she can actually save him. Huh. Yeah, that's big. But yeah, and even from her perspective, like if she just gets the information about how Sukuna works with the 20 fingers and whatnot, she won't want to kill Yuji until after he's consumed all of the fingers, right?
That's true too.
It would be a waste otherwise, kind of.
Yeah, good point.
So she just needs to, I guess, get that information, and then most likely she would be fine with waiting a little bit.
I would hope so. I mean,
whether it's straight up killing him or if it's trying to separate the two of them. To be fair, if they separate, like, hypothetically, if Yuji were to eat all of the 20 fingers and then Kurusu would separate Sukuna from Yuji, it would probably be a hell of a lot harder to kill Sukuna. Like the separated Sukuna.
Yeah, good point.
But it would be a badass climax to the whole story as a whole, I guess, if that's what ends up happening.
Yeah. And then that also brings up Megumi. What is Sukuna's plan for him? Right. And does that not have anything to do with bringing himself back? I think that I had mentioned potentially Sukuna wanted to use Megumin for his ability to make packs or summon these what are they called? Shikigamis? Or whatever they're called.
Something like that, yeah.
And maybe that's how he would come back. But that was just a theory, and maybe that's not necessarily the way he's thinking it's going to happen, and he has something else in mind for Megumi. Yeah. Either way, it has to deal with his summoning ability, his the contract he's able to make with those spirits, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Shikigami or whatever.
Precisely.
So it has to do something with that, I think.
I think that makes sense too. Very interesting.
Indeed.
But they have all of the points that they need now to execute the full plan and add all the rules that they want to add. So I'm hoping that we'll also get to see that in the next volume, perhaps. Although, with the pace that things have been going, I guess I can't say that with too much certainty that it will happen in the next book specifically, but it's coming, I guess.
Yeah. Let's not forget that Maki doesn't want that to happen yet, because the Kyoto class is thinking, well, we want to prevent bad sorcerers and spirits from going in between the colonies, so let's kill them all first.
Right.
So I mean, I guess it would be chaotic if they were just to make that rule, and Maki's like, you fools, you've doomed us all. No, yeah. But there could be a meeting of some kind where they learn about Maki's plan, like someone comes and tells them.
Yeah.
Or I don't know why you just don't do the communication thing. I forget what was the reason against that.
I also can't remember. I feel like
that'd be pretty useful at this point to make sure you're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. I'm pretty sure that rule will be coming though. Like it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Whether it's next volume or a future one.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I say that rule, I mean all the rules, like being able to go through all the barriers, the rules about completing the game, etc., etc.
Yeah, so. It'll be interesting though to see if these rules will actually be accepted as new added rules, Because I guess we don't know that for sure, that they will accept those as new rules.
Oh, I never thought that was a possibility that they wouldn't accept them.
I think something that I believe that was established at the beginning of the Culling Games was that a rule that change or a rule that affects the game too much couldn't be added or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it was put, but there was something like that. But I don't know who makes those calls
Hmm.
and how that works exactly.
No,
But we shall see.
maybe the game manages itself somehow. It's AI.
Oh no.
It's Jujutsu.
Jujutsu
Artificial
AI.
Jujutsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that we'll learn more about Hana in this next volume.
I hope so.
I had another theory that she could have. I had a few theories about who she could have been. I don't think any of them are right,
Huh.
but one theory I had was about Remy being her. But again, you would have to change the hairstyle,
Oh.
a whole costume change. But it would have been interesting if she had been hiding Kurusu this whole time.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bring that up is because someone someone had interacted with Hana, right? And that was the reason why she saved Megami. So I thought, oh, maybe that could be it, but there's too many discrepancies, too many inconsistencies that it just doesn't work. So
Right.
and it's not Megami's sister, unfortunately.
Right. No.
That would have been a really great twist, but it's not. And then we could also get some backstory for Kurusu and Sukuna, because obviously Kurusu knows who Sukuna is, right?
Yes.
So, and calling him the disgraced one, unless it's just by legend that she knows him, that could mean that she knew him from the time he was around as a sorcerer. So maybe there could be some details there. I'm not particularly certain we'd see that in full in this next volume. We could, but maybe that could be something that's saved for a future volume.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Choso or Yuki in a while. I think with the story kind of, I mean, maybe I've said this before, but it does feel like the story has reached a point where we've gone through a few battles. Maybe we can finally get the main plot going again. Maybe we go have a chapter with them and see what's going on with them in Tengen.
Precisely, yeah. Yeah, it's them, and it's also Ui, who seemed to be a big deal at the end of the previous volume, but wasn't mentioned at all in this one.
Right. Well, because Ui he's out. What does he do again? He's like he's transferring. Like he's able to teleport Maki.
Maybe somehow, perhaps.
I think that's what he's doing, and he can't go inside the barrier, otherwise he'd be stuck. So he transfers Maki to each colony, so that she can go in.
Yeah.
I believe that's what he's doing.
I think it's something along those lines as well, but I was expecting to see more clarity on him in this volume, but we didn't get anything. Because it's to me, it just seemed like the previous volume was building up to something, or like to some kind of reveal about him. Because I still feel like it's a bit vague exactly what he's doing, and I would like to see it more, up close.
I think more than Ui, I think it's more so what Mei is planning, because whatever Mei is planning, Ui is part of it.
For sure. Both of them, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's doing this on the command of his elder sister.
Oh, yes.
He'll get a treat afterwards. Nope! Stop.
He will do anything for her.
Lastly, I'll say, I guess kind of related to this part of the plan, Maki is going to wreck all the remaining threats in the colonies. I think because she's reached this OP status, I think she's just going to wipe out all the danger spots in the colonies, and that's when we'll reach the point where we can start making the rule. Okay, now we can go through all the colonies. Everybody can transfer through. No problem.
Yeah. I think that's a very reasonable prediction for her to basically wipe.
Right. It's like a few pages, or like one, or just like she's already done all that. Right? Kind of kind of a thing. I don't think we're gonna dwell on that. Maybe part of me is just I'm ready to not talk about each and every colony, you know. But I do think that'd be a great way to kind of start wrapping up the culling games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fast forwarding that.
Precisely. I do think we're past most of the culling games at the very least. At this point. But there remains. I think we're past, like, I guess, the establishing of the arc, or the establishing of what the culling games are.
Yeah.
And what's ahead of us is like the more, I guess, of the actual story.
Yeah.
For it, at least I hope so, and it really seems like that's what it is.
I agree.
So, yet again, it's exciting.
Oh yes. I didn't see any figures of Maki in Hawaii, although it's not like a Akihabara place or anything like that. But
yeah,
I kept my eyes out.
I didn't remember seeing any Maki figures in Japan either.
And if you do find them, it's probably gonna be her earlier design, not the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not awakened, but Toji.
Yeah. For those listeners who are wondering, this is our first recording session after we've been on some trips. James and I. James was in Hawaii and I was in Japan, and now we're back home. Wonderful trips we had.
Indeed.
But any closing thoughts on Volume 22?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's one of the better volumes for the culling games. Yeah, they've been all really exciting, and Utah had a really good volume as well.
Yeah.
But being a huge fan of Maki, I thought it was great, and I thought the Naoya and stuff was good, and Noritoshi really added more to it than I thought he would in terms of adding an emotional depth. So yeah, I think it was a pretty solid one, and leaves a lot to be excited for with the final chapter in it.
Oh yeah, very, very exciting. But I guess with that, we are ending this episode.
Yep.
So, if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 23. Bye bye!
See you later! Excuse me, so sorry.
Bless you.
I think I may have another one coming. Where one appears, the other follows.